Oh, hopefully you guys can hear me. Um, I guess I'll find out. I am getting ready to do a live watch along for Spider Man. It's very exciting. Can you guys hear me? Can I be heard? Just let me know in the chat, please. I I haven't pressed play yet because I'm getting the movie ready and I want to give some people a chance to be on, to hop on, I guess. So yeah, yo, gamer man, can you guys hear me? Can I be heard? Hello, hello. Hi. Hey, Shadow Bear. So you can hear me? I assume you guys can hear me. Are we good? Yes. 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 Okay. All right. Good to know. So I haven't started the movie yet. I put the Blu-ray in. Right now, it's playing a trailer for The Amazing Spider-Man, which is funny. How's it going, my guy? Tobey Maguire is the king of... Yes, yes. It's going to be very funny to rewatch this film. I'm not saying it's been a super long time since I've seen it, but it's been a little while. Just got done watching Spider-Man 2 on Cartoon Network. Ah, nice. Cool beans. Cool stuff. So, let me just make sure. I my webcam didn't work, in case people are wondering. So I'm live streaming via my phone. I know, super, you know, um, super high tech we're dealing with here. But this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to do live streams watching movies. That's something that was a priority as far as just doing something different on the channel. There's only so many reviews that I can do to grow the channel past where it is now. So I wanted to try something different. I want to continue to find different ways to talk about uh shit. I should probably get in case I miss, if I missed your comment in the chat, rewrite it, please, please. So, because I think I just missed Vintage Flamingo's last comment there. I apologize, but I want to find different ways to. We need Bully McGuire and Bully Holland to. You can do rankings. That's true. That's true. Yeah, I can do rankings. Maybe after I do a rewatch of all of the Spider-Man movies, right? We can do a ranking, best Spider-Mans, best love interests, best villains, and best movies, obviously. All right, so here we go. We're on the menu. I'm going to languages so that I can get the subtitles on English. All right. All right, so I'm gonna press play very soon. I hope you guys are excited. Uh, Star Wars Theory does watch parties. This is totally cool. All right, well there you go. I've checked out some of Star Wars Theory's stuff. And he's very successful. So I think it makes sense. I think this is also a good way to get ready for No Way Home, right? To watch a bunch of Spider-Man movies. And then who knows if this works out, if people like this, maybe I'll do this for The Matrix. There's a new Matrix movie coming out. Next year we have a new Batman movie coming out. That could be a possibility. So, all right, I'm gonna get started. I'm sure people will join in throughout the video, so it's not like I'm expecting a lot of people to be here all at the beginning. And what's cool about this is that you can watch it after the fact. And then hopefully people who weren't here for this can see it and want to be a part of the next ones coming up. Star Wars, I enjoy the Amazing Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3, even though they have flaws. Wow, you don't hear too many people willing to admit that. So I appreciate your comment. Um, all right, I'm going to press play. Here we go. Boom! Play movie. I have the volume down pretty low because, again, copyright, YouTube shit. You don't want to get caught up in that. It'd be nice if I could play it loud and so we can react off of music cues and stuff. But I will make it a point to mention music at least as much as I can. Danny Elfman's score in this movie's great. Right now, we just have the warning stuff. The movie hasn't officially. Who am I sure you want to know? Who am I? Oh, who am I? You sure you want to know? I'm Spider Man. I remember that from the trailer. Obviously, the movie will start with that. But, okay, it's officially. Yes, we have the Columbia intro. Right? That's what this is, right? Yeah. I think, obviously, Columbia Pictures has been around forever, but for me, and it's Sony, of course, but the Columbia intro, it's been around way before Spider-Man, but Spider-Man was the first movies where I noticed that, right? That the logo and the Marvel logo. Technically, Blade was before this, and X-Men was before this, but Spider-Man might be the first. Uh, I missed the part where that's my problem. Like, yes, classic line. Um, but Spider-Man might be the first to have that Marvel intro logo like that. Very cool. And here we have the title opening, starring Tobey Maguire and William Dafoe. I actually like this title screen with the webbing and the actors' names being stuck on the webs. Very cool. James Franco. The first time I saw this movie, I think I was a little skeptical, which sounds weird now because I love the movie now, but at the time, I think I was so much in the mindset of, and plus I was young, 2002, I wasn't even in high school yet. Uh, the thing about this movie is that the atmosphere screams 2002, and I love it. That's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's definitely going to make me nostalgic for that time period. I was very young then. Like I said, before high school, so I was very young. I was very much stubborn in certain ways as far as I had a certain idea of what I wanted from Spider-Man, mostly pertaining to the 90s show, the 90s animated show. And so I was like, oh, I don't know if they're going to pull this off. This, like I don't know if it's going to satisfy me, make me happy. So I was weary about that, you know? But when I watched it, I was just in awe. I was like, wow, they captured so much. They should have gave Green Goblin a purple banana to wear on the back of. Yeah, I know a lot of people complain about Green Goblin and his look and the suit and the mask and well, at the time everybody was still getting over Batman and Robin. Yes, yes. As far as a big superhero movie, you had your Blades after Batman and Robin. You had X-Men 1, but even those didn't feel like blockbuster superhero movies, right? They just were movies, good movies, but a little on the smaller scale of movies based on superhero stuff. And so there you go. But yeah, I think Spider-Man 2002. This is why I'm glad we didn't get Green Goblin suit nipples. That's true. I mean, look, people who complain about the Green Goblin suit here, it could have been so much worse. It could have been so much worse. Who am I? You sure you want to know? The story of my life is not for the faint of heart. Just to let you guys know, I'll try to point out, hey, Ryan, what's up, man? I'll try to occasionally point out where I am in the movie so that people who either aren't watching can get an idea of where I am, or people who jump in last. We see Mary Jane, Kirsten Dunst's Mary Jane, um, on the bus. She's the first person we see, of course, next to Flash. I forget how I forget how many times I watched this movie before I realized that Flash is Joe Maginello. I mean, obviously he wasn't famous here, right? He became famous much, much later. I think I became most aware of him from True Blood. I wish there was a Home Alone 6 live watch. Oh, man. Are you talking about Home Sweet Home Alone? No, you wouldn't have wanted to see me. Well, or maybe you would have wanted to see me sit here and. But the thing is, I don't know if I'll do. Even the nerdy girl turns him down to sit next to you on the bus. That's so messed up. Come on. As goofy, I admit, as goofy and as nerdy as Tobey Maguire looked as Peter Parker, which is what I like about him. He just got tripped on the bus. As goofy as he looks, I don't think he's a bad looking guy. Like, even as a nerd, I still think that nerdy girl should have been happy to have him sit next to her. Damn, poor Peter. Yeah. I wouldn't would have been a rant fest. I know what you mean, Ryan. There might be some live watches. Uh oh. This part always makes me cringe. MJ just waved at Peter, but it's not Peter. It's to the two girls behind him. Oh, because that's happened to me before. You know, it's like you see a girl and she waves, and you go like, "Is that to me? Holy crap, wave!" And then no, it's the fucking person behind you. Of course, that insanely gorgeous chick wasn't waving at you, you idiot. I'm not talking to Peter. I'm talking to myself, mind you. So we've been there. At least guys like me, we've been there, you know. And now we have Norman Osborn talking to Harry Osborn at the school. This is where you get a sense of Harry and his father's relationship. It's not great. It happens to me. Okay, so there you go. Uh, oh yeah, yeah. I guess we can talk about the fact that Tobey Maguire, I think, was like 28 or 29 making this movie. Um, yeah, you know, I will say that I don't think he looks super old, but he doesn't look like he's 16 or 17. I think he's supposed to be 17. He does not look that. But maybe it's the glasses there and how dorky he looks. Maybe that makes me buy into it, right? I get that he's really older than he is, but I don't sit here, you know, I see people who they're probably just joking, but they're like, "Oh my god, Toby looks like a 40-year-old man." He doesn't look that old. He doesn't. He's serviceable. He is. It's never something to where I don't feel taken out of these moments. I think most of the first movie. By the time you get to the second movie, yeah, he looks older, so it works that he's by then in college. This movie, I can go along with it. I can buy it. Joe Maginello, though, he doesn't look like he's in high school at all. He looks old as fuck, even without the beard and whatnot. So, of course, the moment where he nudges him, Joe Maginello does play maybe the best Flash. Well, I actually like the Flash, not Barry Allen, but Flash, the bully Flash from Amazing Spider-Man. I actually like that actor who plays him in that. Um, in the behind the scenes when Toby is kissing Kirsten Dunst upside down, it was hard to breathe for him. So, you know, that's an interesting thing that I wouldn't even think about. Yeah, that's true. Not only do you have the blood rushing to your head from being upside down, but you have the rain and the water going into your nose. The black teacher looks young as hell. Yeah, you know what? The black teacher that just scolded them does look like he's in the same age range as Toby and James Franco, which is hilarious, right? A guy who's probably in real life they're equal in age, just just scolded them like they're children. That is funny. So here's a good moment where I say good moment. It's actually pretty messed up. Harry Osborn he knows that Peter is into MJ. And I'm not saying that if Peter doesn't go for it, that Harry should never go for it. It's messed up, but it's more messed up that he's going to her and he's telling her something that Peter told him, and he's passing it along as his own info. Like he's that smart himself. It's messed up. It's funny. It makes me laugh. But I now here's the part where one spider is missing. I love the way the setup of Toby being bit by the spider is set up here compared to say Amazing and Tom Holland. We haven't seen it yet. We don't know how that happened, but I like it here. And hey, he gets bit pretty soon, pretty early. It doesn't take long for Peter to get bit by a spider. So that's cool. It's not rushed. What's worse, Gotham or Defenders? I'll say Gotham because Gotham ran for 5 seasons, whereas Defenders was just one. So if I had to watch one, Defenders is shorter. Spidey suit is bussin', looks better than Holland's. This spider suit, yeah, I love Toby's spider suit. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Tom Holland's spider suit, it's great, but especially in Civil War, it's very CGI heavy. It's not a practical suit as much. The field trip is at Oscorp, right? In this movie, I think so. Is this Oscorp? I know Amazing Spider-Man they go to Oscorp, and that's how Peter gets bit at Oscorp. This one, maybe it is Oscorp. I guess they're not throwing it in your face, right? You don't see logos everywhere. Bit. He just got bit. So that you got it. Oh, it's not. Is it not at Oscorp? Yeah, I wasn't sure. Like I wasn't confident in saying if it's Oscorp. Like it could be, but if it's not, if you know, Gamerman, where this is, the biggest problem with Gotham was it had no central focus, and it mind boggles me on how all these villains are. Yes, I agree. That's my biggest thing about Gotham is that it has every Spider-Man villain, or sorry, getting franchises confused here. It has every Batman villain while Bruce Wayne is 14. And I hated that. I hated that in concept. I feel like Gotham should have just been a Jim Gordon show. You could have had certain Batman villains there, like like you know, Carmine Falcone and Penguin, but they went everything. They did Joker, they did Ra's al Ghul, they did fucking everybody who unnecessary. All right, so here you have Norman Osborn, William Defoe. This is Oscorp. Um, what are your anticipations? Are you a fan of Tom Holland? Okay, I apologize if I don't catch all of these. Or maybe I should. I I wish I was able to look at the chat better. Um, so re-ask your questions, please. I'm trying to look at the I'm trying to watch both, but am I a fan of? Are you a fan of Tom Holland Spider-Man? Because personally, I am not. It's the Columbia University Genetic Lab. Thank you, Gamerman. Appreciate it. Am I a fan of Tom Holland Spider-Man? Yes, very much so. What are your thoughts on Andrew Garfield's portrayal? I like Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. Peter Parker, not so much, but not for his acting. It's for how Peter Parker is written in those movies. I think his Peter Parker isn't as nerdy. I do like how smart he is with tech stuff. I appreciate that. Or maybe it is Andrew Garfield's portrayal. Maybe him as an actor is just he's too cool. He's too likable, or he just doesn't strike me as the nerd guy who can't get the girl. Andrew's Parker is too cool. Yeah, exactly. His Peter Parker, I can believe gets with Gwen Stacy, no problem. Andrew was good Spider-Man, but his Peter Parker was all over the place. I agree. Especially the one of the worst scenes of Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker. What's worse, Home Alone 4 or Home Sweet Home Alone? Um, uh, to be honest, I'm trying to remember Home Alone 4. Like I don't remember Home Alone 4 right this second. I'm gonna say Home Sweet Home Alone just because it's very fresh, but I might be able to answer that better if I like go look at the trailer for Home Alone 4 and remind myself on it. Do you really think Toby and Andrew? Shit, have you learned about the new Spider-Man show coming? Yes, I have heard about it. When Spider-Man came out to us, do you remember your expectations going in? Yes, my expectations. You probably missed it. You probably came in after, but I did. This movie's fantastic. I agree, Andrew. This movie, like even it just started. He just got bit by the spider, and it's already. I'm loving it. I'm loving it going back into this world. Home Sweet Home Alone is trash. I agree. Yes, amen, Shadow Bear. Thank you. My expectations going in was that I was a little nervous because I love the Spider-Man animated series. Wow, Peter really looks like gross looking, sickly in this scene. In my opinion, Tobey Maguire is perfect casting as, but okay, okay. I very much like him. I think the problem with Andrew Spider-Man is from the beginning he was just too trying to seem nerdy and socially awkward. Yeah, there was something that Andrew was going for as far as being awkward, like how he had this weird way of talking to people in public that it looked like he was going for some antisocial thing that Peter had, and I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to rewatch Amazing Spider-Man to really get what I'm talking about. So here we have the scene where Peter is sick and his DNA is being changed. MJ is more nerdy than Peter in the MCU version. That's true, but I like MJ in the MCU version. You know, yes, she's different, but she has a lot of the same qualities that Mary Jane has. Michelle Jones, right? She's not Mary Jane, but she is MJ. She's Michelle Jones. They're very similar characters, but very different. If Maguire and Garfield show up in No Way Home, they're going to steal the spotlight from you. Um, you know what? I think a lot of us are expecting that. We're expecting them to steal the movie away or to steal the scenes. And I think the moment that, especially when we see Toby back, if we see Toby back, then in the second movie he stalks Gwen. That's true. The subsequent film is be comics accurate origin. Yes, yes, that is what I like about the 2002 movie is that the origin's accurate. The Uncle Ben stuff is way more hard hitting. Ow, that's cold. That was William Defoe ad libbing, by the way. That was him just doing that. I love when moments are ad libbed and they're kept in the movie because I do feel like even that short moment makes Norman Osborn the most human and most relatable than he ever is in this whole movie. And this is right before he tragically will become a villain, right? This green gas is going to fuck him up. And I don't love how almost every Spider-Man villain has this thing where they have split personalities. To me, Andrew Peter acted too confident of a teenager. I agree. I like MJ in the MCU, Mary Jane in the Raimi trilogy. Oh, okay, so we're gonna have that debate, right? On Kirsten Dunst as Mary Jane versus Zendaya as Michelle, MJ. And I will say this: that Kirsten Dunst is not likable as Mary Jane in Spider-Man 3. Can you reenact Defoe when he has the knife and fork? Sure, I'll reenact that. Am I the only fan of Raimi MJ? No, I like Raimi MJ. I like her in this movie. I like her a lot in this movie, even though she cheats on Flash, she cheats on Harry Osborn, and like I don't like that about her. But at the same time, she is young. She's still like a teenager. Give Andrew's suit the moving eyes, and that's the if if you're talking about Andrew's suit from Amazing Spider-Man 2. Uh oh, back to formula. Throws the guy through the glass. That's a great stunt. And then William Defoe jumping on the ledge and creeping over like that with the face. William Defoe gave a performance that he did not need to give. His physicality, the facials, he didn't even need the helmet, for God's sakes. You could have taken his face and painted it green. And you would have been like, yeah, that's Green Goblin. That guy looks crazy enough and weirdly shaped face to be Green Goblin. Peter doesn't need the glasses anymore. Huh, weird. I need glasses because I'm blind as shit without it. And look, and now I don't know how they made him look so sickly. And while Toby was a good Peter, uh, yeah, Peter didn't have great wisecracking moments as Spider-Man. That's for sure. Daredevil or Arrow, dude, come on. Daredevil, Arrow doesn't even. No, no. First two seasons of Arrow maybe could have competed, but the next what six seasons? Get out of here. Daredevil is my favorite superhero TV show. One thing Toby did right that Andrew and Tom did was the struggles being a normal guy. And yeah, yeah, I agree. Um, so Peter is literally next door from MJ. He can see her from his window. I do love that moment when he runs on the wall there. Like you could tell he's full of this energy now. He's full of like, wow, hey, look what I can do. Do you know what I mean? I love how this movie sets up him getting these abilities and these powers. Okay, how about we make it fair? Season 1 and 2 of Daredevil versus season 1 and 2 of Arrow. That's a lot closer. Before I answer that, we have MJ's father yelling at her. Uh, yeah, yeah, Toby is jacked. Yeah. Oh, Shadow Bear just quoted the moment when Toby says "big change" and he's looking down. Is he looking at his dick? um, what is it? Why didn't they bring? What was that last comment? Why didn't they bring back Topher Grace and Dana Han? Just give Raimi's Green Goblin. Why? Well, because first of all, nobody likes Topher Grace as Eddie Brock, so why bring him back? And I don't like, or does anybody like Dane DeHaan as Harry Osborn? No, please, no Topher Grace. Yeah, right. Like I don't see like there's no longing or want. There's no fans going like bring back Topher Grace, bring back Dane DeHaan. They're probably the worst parts of their respective movies. In some ways at least. So yeah, nobody gives a shit. Plus, Sony has their new Eddie Brock with Tom Hardy. Topher Grace was awful. Yeah, I mean, he was a really bad Venom. His Eddie Brock is at least written in the plot correctly, with him being adversarial towards Peter Parker, with the Daily Bugle competing for the job and whatnot. Uh, even Topher, uh, even Topher thought he was miscast. Oh, did Topher? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I did hear Topher say that. They were better than Jamie Foxx's Electro. Um, I prefer Jamie Foxx's Electro over Dane DeHaan. Honestly, I think Dane DeHaan was terrible. Um, and Topher Grace, yeah, you might be right. Topher Grace is better than Jamie Foxx's Electro. I'll give you that. And they are bringing back Jamie Foxx's Electro. I think it's just Jamie Foxx is still a decent enough name, right? And I feel like um, uh, they probably wanted to have at least some connection to the Andrew movies since they are hopefully bringing Andrew back too. That you need to have something from his world, some villain. Here's the part where MJ slips. Toby turns, catches everything. Wow, great reflexes. uh, but uh, but Electro's not blue. I could rant for hours about the Amazing Spider-Man 2. You know what? When we get to a live stream of Amazing Spider-Man 2, I probably will rant for at least 2 hours. Yes, but Sandman Spider-Man 3 was a missed opportunity. I wanted more. Yes, I think Sandman was a missed opportunity. I think they did a lot wrong with Sandman. But we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. Let's give this movie, though, its due, its appreciation. Toby has the fork stuck to his hand. I do like that. And then the webbing is organically coming out of his wrist. I'd love to know what you guys think. Do you prefer organic web shooters, or do you prefer the mechanical ones that Andrew and Tom Holland has? To me, Spider-Man isn't about being a teenager and wisecracks. It's the struggles of. That's a fair point. People complain about Toby not having the wisecracking stuff, and I do like that about Spider-Man, that he does wisecrack, he does make jokes. I love that, but I agree that what's more important is the struggles. Venom is supposed to. I've heard some rumors about the possibilities of making Spider-Man 4. I do think Electro is better than all the other bad Amazing Spider-Man villains. Knowing the mechanical web shooters, It's just the only thing about the organic web shooters. Okay, here we have where everything is. This is Spidey sense, where everything's frozen or going very slow, and Peter is aware of everything going on in this hallway. Flash's fist. I love the way that was shot. This is like Sam Raimi's style, like with the Evil Dead style, but with a big budget, right? And 20 years later. So, all right, we're at the Flash versus Peter fight scene in the hallway. In case anybody's wondering where we are in the movie, and I love the way Flash is like, no, the main point Spider-Man is trying to find his place in the way. Okay, we just did a Matrix move where Peter ducked. Help him, Harry. Of course. Um, okay, maybe that flip had too many rotations. I think just a regular flip would have been fine. But now that I'm thinking about it as we go. Peter doesn't really know how to use these abilities. So Peter just jumping up, it does make sense that he would jump too high, right? Like he doesn't know how to hone how fast he can jump. So it's like, whoa, you know what I mean? And it's just weird that it's in front of everybody. Um, so some people are weirded out by that, and some people think it's cool. I like that we don't know how Mary Jane felt about it. She's just looking at him. So we don't know if she was weirded out. She doesn't look weirded out. But she's also not like, wow, Peter, I'm so turned on by you. Like, it's not like that either. That's actually the perfect way to play that scene. She's just more confused. And I think this movie does the best job of making Mary Jane feel more like comic book Mary Jane. Um, Jesus, imagine the Raimi could. Yes, I agree. I agree. I feel like if you kept Raimi's script, for the most part, I might make some tweaks here and there with the script, but for the most part, if you take this script and if you were able to update the effects, which so far I'm not upset with the effects. I'm not sitting here thinking that the effects look bad. The only good thing about Homecoming was Michael Keaton. Well, I don't agree with that. I don't think that's the only good thing about it, but Michael Keaton is great. All right, here's the part where he walks up the walls, looks back. Woohoo! Have you seen Spectacular Spider-Man? No, I haven't, but I have heard that Spectacular Spider-Man is great. So I should probably do. I should check that out. So here's the scene of Peter jumping across rooftops. Um, with the Spider Verse being real, does all the Spider-Man films make it? Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. And I think even me wanting to rewatch this movie makes everything connected. It makes everything important. Go, Web! Fly! Up, up, and away, Web! Shazam! I can't believe we have a Shazam reference. I can't believe. Go, Web, go! People say that Toby doesn't really have as much personality. This scene, he's going for it. This scene, he's being funny. I want a new scene, new Spider-Man where both runs out of webs. Oh, that'd be funny. And like Toby Spider-Man is like, really? You guys don't just have the webs naturally? Huh, that's weird. So here we have the very first time that Peter is going to swing with his web. Homecoming was like Spider-Man for children. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. Michael Keaton not only kills a guy in that movie, but the scene of Michael Keaton in the car with Tom is terrifying. I'm so happy it's not a trilogy anymore. I don't think Toby wisecracking is better than Andrew's, though. I agree with that. I think Andrew's wisecracking is better. Um, Peter missed painting the kitchen. I gotta be honest, he did the more fun thing. Come on. He was out there swinging and doing some funny Imagine Michael Keaton's Vulture fight, Toby. Hey, Michelangelo, meatloaf and veggies in the oven. Wasn't Michael Keaton disintegrate? Yeah, exactly. How can you say Homecoming was for kids when Michael Keaton disintegrated the original Shocker, turned him into dust. Like, I know that the tone of that movie is more lighthearted, but there's some dark stuff in that movie. And the scene where Michael Keaton, I don't want to talk too much about other movies while watching this, but the scene where Michael Keaton is with Tom Holland in the car is one of the most terrifying scenes in any Spider-Man movie. Really, let's be real. All right, so now we have a pretty good advantage of Peter living next door to MJ. Not only can you hear her parents arguing, uh, Spider-Man 2, hey, Jenna likes Spider-Man 2. And when he pulls out the gun, there is a deleted scene from this movie where Peter made a web shooter. Oh, really? In this movie? Huh. Oh, well, I think I heard that originally this movie was gonna have him have web shooters, but then last minute, I think Sam Raimi said, "Let's get rid of that. He's just gonna have it naturally." Which I'm a fan of the natural webbing. I just think you get bit by a spider. I think you're gonna have spider like abilities and skills and having webs coming out of you. I know it sounds gross. I know that it's gross, but it makes sense. MCU Spidey films focus more teen superhero movies, but yeah, that's true. Because I like the fact that Homecoming is more of a teenage movie because I do want, or I wanted a Spidey movie that focuses on him being in high school, and we got that. Okay, so I want to talk about this scene of them two talking because I like that MJ leaves the house because she can't deal with the father yelling at her, which is from the comic books. MJ's father is an asshole and treats her bad. Um, Uncle, well, no, message retracted. Far From Home is better than Homecoming. I don't know. I don't know. I like them both pretty equally. Remember Big Boy on Smallville, which was around this time? Um, yes, Smallville. I would love to do a rewatch of Smallville one day. I don't know why Toby takes get too much these days. Why he gets hate so much? Yeah, I think because people love Tom Holland as Spider-Man, which is great. I love him too, but I don't think that means you have to pick. You don't have to be like, oh, Bug Boy. Oh, yes. And yes, that makes sense that it was around this time that Spider-Man came out. It was almost like DC shot at Marvel. So great. Flash just got a new car. Uh, Jenna wants me to skip over the Lana Lang episodes. I like Lana Lang. Sorry. So, what a cool car. I had the same thing, Peter. It sucked when you're in high school and you don't have a car and you're sitting there like, well, how do I get the cool girl? How do I get the nice girl or the girl that I like? I need a car. All right. Like, see, this is the moments that I like. I know in big world problems, it might not sound like the biggest thing in the world, but once again, high school shit, right? High school stuff. How do I get the girl? How do I get the girl? It's superficial stuff. And ultimately, he doesn't need a car to get her, right? In that scene of them talking, she showed interest over the fact that, oh, wow, here's somebody that notices me for me, right? He's not just trying to get with me because I'm popular or because he's not saying I'm hot. He's just saying he likes me as a person. And so that catches her interest more than anything else. And so obviously he's trying to go for the superficial stuff, the car and whatnot. He's drawing the Spider-Man suit right now, which is very cool. It's almost like, hey, Peter, if you want to make some money, go become a comic book artist, because that drawing, that Spider-Man drawing right there is amazing. Of course, though, it's really teasing the fans. It's like, oh, it's coming. It's already in his head. The science made me become an artist, drawing the suit scene. Hey, Mike, I'm a huge fan. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it, man. Oh, here's a moment that I think we've all had as teenagers, right? Where where you're in your room and you're busy webbing around all over the place, and then your mother or your aunt tries to come in your room, and you're like, no, don't come in. My webbing is all over the place. I get what you guys did there. Oscorp may lose their contract. Is this the end of Norman Osborn? Um, Michael Keaton's Vulture. Oh, I missed that. Damn. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to keep up with the chat and the movie. We're getting a tease of Norman hearing voices. He obviously doesn't remember killing that guy the previous night. And do we ever get a scene where they find that guy's body? Or is that just not even talked about? I'm going to the library. See you later. Now, this is nice, though. Ultimately, we're getting close to the end of Uncle Ben. But I do like that Uncle Ben does this because he's trying to bond with Peter. He's trying to spend time with him, to relate to him. I like that. I do. I like it. It just sucks, though, that Peter, obviously, he had to. Well, did he have to keep it a secret? Could he have told them? Well, they wouldn't have let him wrestle, so there's that. Is similar to the Raimi's villains. I don't think I wish Peter still lived with May in the second movie. Yeah, yeah, it doesn't really make that much sense that Peter is not has his own apartment. The older I get, the more I think Norman was completely right about Mary Jane. Yeah, it's just the problem though is that he shouldn't have said it, especially not loud enough for her to hear. That scene will be later. But no, I don't think Michael Keaton. I don't think Michael Keaton's Vulture is like any of the Raimi villains because Michael Keaton he didn't have a split personality. I feel like most or yeah most of the Raimi villains have split personalities, and whereas like they were a normal person and then for whatever reason they become evil, you know. They have a connection to Peter and oh so you're that's what you mean. Okay, I see what you're saying. Um, because I like the fact that Michael Keaton felt slighted by Tony Stark and then became a villain, used tech from the aliens in Avengers, and he was more of a tech guy. And he didn't have a split personality where, like, oh my god, I don't know who I am anymore. Like, he knew what he was doing and he was okay with it. But you're saying his connection to Peter. I agree with that, but he didn't have a connection to Peter beforehand, right? It wasn't like Peter was dating Liz, met Michael Keaton first. Oh, we have this relationship where I like that guy, I like her father, and then we find out that he's Vulture. No, he finds out that Keaton is Vulture after they're already villains. So that's the switch. Oh yeah, Macho Man Randy Savage. Of course, Bonesaw. Classic elbow drop from Macho Man Bonesaw. This is very cool to see, especially because Macho Man since passed away. I do love though that like they got Macho Man. Macho Man wasn't really actively wrestling around this time. He was pretty close to being retired, but they still got him because well he's in great shape. Look how fucking good he looks still. Like I'm glad they didn't get a wrestler who was current. They got somebody who was a legend, so he's timeless. No matter when you watch this movie, it's like that works. And you have Bruce Campbell. We have many Bruce Campbell cameos in all three movies. So the first one is the ring announcer. This is kind of a Octavia Spencer. What would you think if Toby switched places with Tom? I wouldn't want that. I like that Toby's movies are there and Tom's movies are MCU. I wouldn't want them to switch it. Um, it wasn't until very recently that I realized that that was Octavia Spencer. Obviously, at the time, I don't think I knew her, but now it's like going back. I've seen her in so much stuff. So yeah, Bonesaw just killed that guy. By the way, great move, throwing him outside the ring through the table. Looked like it broke the guy's neck. Probably did. That's a cute little outfit. Did your husband give it? Yeah, yeah. We'll get there. We'll get to that quote. That quote does not hold up. and it's especially weird that you have Peter saying that. I think William Dafoe's Green Goblin is better than MCU's villain, though I love R.I.P. Randy Savage. That's right. Okay, so here we have the moment where Bruce Campbell actually names him Spider-Man. Sam Raimi had a cameo in one of Bruce Campbell's movies. Oh, that's cool. So Peter wanted to be called the Human Spider, which I don't really care for as much. I love that Bruce Campbell was like, that name sucks. I'm just gonna call him Spider-Man. And I love how either Peter, either he warms up to that and he goes, okay, cool, I'll keep it, or that's just something that makes sense. Now here you have all of the Nitro girls. I'm pretty sure, like, at least she's a Nitro girl. If anybody knows WCW, um, I love. Oh, my legs! Oh God, I can't feel my legs. And the crowd is chanting to kill him. What kind of a wrestling show is this? Where you have the top wrestler wrestling or fighting multiple people back to back to back, and that they have this open challenge where just anybody can come in. Like, clearly this isn't WWE. Clearly this is like some, I don't want to say backyard because Macho Man is, it's an underground wrestling show. Yeah, I got you for 5 minutes. Okay, so you have Peter freaking out. You're going nowhere. Oh, sorry. 3 minutes. 3 minutes of playtime. I don't like the alphabetical order of movies. What are you doing up there? Staying away from you. All right. That's a cute outfit. Did your husband give it to you? Okay, so that's where I do like how he does the Spider-Man stance there. That's the first time we see it. Yeah, that's not a good line. Mm, did your husband get? So it's like it's almost like Spider-Man or Peter is making fun of somebody over the idea of like, oh, are you gay? Because if you're gay, ha ha, like. And again, I'm not trying to be woke. I'm not trying to like Dunst, Stone, or Zendaya. Who's the hottest? Um, that's a tough question. Who's the hot? I mean, because I'm not. Ooh, I know it's weird that like one move and he beats Bonesaw, but the way how Bonesaw's head hit the ground, like that looked like that hurt. So like you can kind of, and plus, once again, super strength. He tosses him so far ahead. If Bruce Campbell played Mysterio, the payoff would have been great. Yes, if we got the Spider-Man 4 we were supposed to get, and if you pull the helmet off and it's Bruce Campbell, you could almost argue that all four movies, it could be the same character, just playing different. Not that he's purposely following Peter necessarily, but just the fact that this is a guy who's maybe he's gotten fired from every job, and so now by the fourth movie, his last resort is that he's stealing. Look at all those like naked girls on this guy's wall. It's my first time noticing that. I mean, they're covered, of course, but all right, here we go. Here's the robber with the gun. Put the money in the bag. Hurry up. Um, don't worry. Hits the guy with the gun. That looked brutal. Hey, he stole the gate. Stop that guy. He's got my money. Thanks. um, I missed the part where that's my problem. Great, great. You, yeah, this movie would get canceled. All right, yeah, we're getting close to the Uncle Ben moment, guys. I missed the part where that's my problem. I do like that because so much of the Toby memes that are now here are mostly from Spider-Man 3 because he has the black suit, so that's why he's being a dick. That's one of the only lines where Toby, like, Peter is himself being a dick, right? Um, so here we go. He comes out, and you see that Uncle Ben is shot. Carjacker. This scene's really sad. I will answer the who is hotter question in a second. I promise. I just don't want to. I don't want to. Oh, just the water in his eyes, and then the way he says Peter. Oh, and I know people make fun of Tom Maguire's crying face. I know, but this scene gets me, man. Especially because we've already had the "with great power comes great responsibility" line. We've already had that. I talked over it, but we've had it. The death, he doesn't say anything. He's saying his name. He's calling out to him, but and there you go, Toby's ugly cry face. But hey, come on, dude! You just saw your uncle die, and he's well. He doesn't necessarily know it's his fault yet. He might be thinking like, "Man, it's my fault that my uncle was out here waiting for me." But it's not until he sees the guy where the guilt gets even worse. But that scene, it was so simplistic. It was so just like literally right before he died, he opens his eyes long enough to now here you have CGI that doesn't really hold up. Luckily it's in the dark, it's in the shadows, but like Peter's completely CGI here. You can tell in his eyes that it doesn't look quite right. But again, I forgive it because it's 2000 fucking two. Um, I know might sound a little silly. But I want to see Topher. You want to see them bring back Topher Grace? No, thank you. No, thank you. Yeah, here's your first stuff of like heavy CGI. Um, yeah, I don't want Topher Grace back at all. I don't. Rosemary Harris is still alive, but she still alive? Oh wow, she's 94. Holy crap! My top three Spider-Man films are Spider-Man 2, Into the Spider-Verse, and Spider. Yeah, that's solid, man. I can't argue with that. I can't. Uh, First time webbing. Well, technically, his first time webbing was just as Peter in the daytime, right? But this is the first time where he's actively swinging web after web after web after web, right? So yes, and he's going after a criminal. So this is the first time swinging to go after a criminal for sure. And he's also like he's not perfect yet. He's still getting the hang of it. You can see him like spinning around a little bit. I do like that. He's not perfect. This that effect looks good. I think if we get I think we were going we're getting the second trailer coming up. I can't wait for a second trailer. I feel like give they're gonna give Toby up though. Who's the scariest Spider-Man live action villain? Mine is Defoe. The scariest? Yeah, probably William Defoe's Green Goblin. Hard to say scary because Defoe is very goofy, right? Or at least like he's very over the top. But I like it. I like it. Don't get me wrong. I like it. It's just it's hard to say scary. The scariest scene of him as you should watch Spectacular Spider-Man. Okay, all right. You're the second person to bring that up. Um, the scariest scene with William Defoe's Green Goblin is in the apartment that's on fire, right? And he's pretending to be the old lady, and then he pulls the thing back. Um, but okay, so somebody asked me earlier, who's hotter, Kirsten Dunst, Emma Stone, Zendaya? Okay, so Zendaya I know is very popular. Like I know she has a very big following. Um, it's just I don't look at Zendaya that way. I think it's because I'm probably like 10 years older than her. So like I just don't and I'm not saying, that means I can't be attracted to her. It's just I don't feel that attracted to her. I don't look at Zendaya and think, "Oh yeah, she's hot." She still looks like a kid to me. Does that make sense? So we'll cut her out and I had a crush on Kirsten Dunst between Bring It On and this movie, I did. I had a crush, major crush on Kirsten Dunst. And for the longest time, I was like, she's my MJ, like she's my MJ. But I got to give it to Emma Stone. Emma Stone, I feel like not only is Emma Stone physically attractive, but her personality. She's very bubbly and fun. And I'm not saying Kirsten Dunst isn't, but Emma Stone in general gives off that fun vibe, but also as Gwen Stacy in those movies brings her natural personality to that role that made Gwen so likable. We just saw Peter kill the criminal. I don't want to talk about that, or I don't want to talk over that. That's a big moment. The Peter seeing that that's the same guy that he let get away during the robbery. Thus, he's the guy who killed Uncle Ben. Peter now blames himself for Uncle Ben's death. I That was handled very great. You know, the reveal of it, Peter's face, and then it's not like Peter punches the guy out and he goes flying out the window and dies. That's more directly I killed you. They they did it in a way where it was like, all right, he wanted to kill him, he didn't actively do it, but Peter's actions did cause the death of this guy. Yes, it's kind of an accident. You should watch Emma Stone on SNL. Yes, I've seen Emma Stone on SNL. She's great. She's great. But that's what I mean about Emma Stone. She's funny. She's funny and she's very pretty. Definitely would be a catch. Um, he didn't kill him otherwise. Yeah, well, sure. Sure. I'm not saying Peter. I know I said he killed him. It was a more indirect, like, oops. I'm the only one who liked William Dafoe's Green Goblin suit over Power Rangers or not. Oh no, I like his suit. I do. I don't know how you could have done the comic book suit here. Oh, I love that reveal of the green light going over the guy's eyes and he screams out. Even them. That like that scene's actually pretty dark. I remember the first time I saw that, I was like, holy crap, when Green Goblin comes in and bombs all of those guys that turned him down, and just the look of their on their face of like, yeah, and then like explosions. It happens so quick, and the way how the green lights hit them, it's pretty dark. And him laughing the whole time as he does it. So all right, so Peter has graduated high school. We are, I don't know how long into the movie, a little less than an hour into the movie, and he's already graduated high school. So that is weird. Again, they casted an actor who's older. I love how Harry just like goes, "All right, this is weird. Like my father is in love with Peter. I'm just gonna walk away from this." Um, but we see MJ break up with Flash, and I think that might be the last we see of Flash in this movie. Maybe I don't remember if he's at the funeral. I don't remember. But so Harry sees the breakup. So because Norman's talking to Peter, Peter didn't see it because realistically, Peter probably would have seen the breakup, and who knows? Would he have gone after MJ right then and there the way that Harry does? I don't know, but I do like how they set up from the beginning of the movie. They set up that Harry was interested in MJ, and he sees that she's now free. And is it weird that MJ immediately breaks up with Flash and then immediately starts dating Harry? Yeah, maybe she went from guy to guy too fast, but at least her and Flash are broken up, at least. That 70s show is my favorite show. That's maybe why I like Topher. Okay, that makes sense. I've only seen a couple episodes of that 70s show, so I don't have an attachment to him. And I think Tom Hardy is amazing, like across the board. So I like Tom Hardy. I like the casting of Tom Hardy in theory, but his portrayal of Eddie Brock is a little all over the place. I think Spider-Man 3 is underrated. Well, okay. There might have been a time where I would agree with you, but today I don't know if I agree with that. But we will rewatch Spider-Man 3 at some point and we can talk about it. Is she into Harry because he's rich? Shadow Bear, that's a great question. Is the only reason why MJ dates Harry, is it because he's rich? And like, I'm not trying to call her a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke. No, but like seriously, Is she into Harry as a person? Like his personality? I don't know, right? I don't. You don't see a lot of scenes of them together or acting like a couple. Um, so like I don't know what she likes about him. Maybe it's just isn't Eddie Brock supposed to be a younger guy? Um, I don't know about that. I think Eddie Brock. I think Eddie Brock is around the same age as Peter. Usually, in fact, in the cartoon, he might have even been older than Peter. I'm not exactly sure though. Okay, with great power comes great responsibility. Can somebody remember that, Pete? Remember that. Can somebody explain to me how the fuck this Peter Parker can afford this suit? I've been praising this movie like crazy, and I will continue to praise this movie like crazy. But how does this Peter afford this suit? At least Tom Holland Spider Man explains that he has Tony Stark's tech, Tony Stark's uh, budget, right? And that's why his suit is so amazing. This Peter's broke as shit. And Aunt May's not pulling in money for him to be able to pull that off. And I don't think he got the money for the wrestling match. A loan from the bank. You're worried how he made the iconic Raimi suit? Okay. No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not saying it's a huge ding. I'm just asking the question. You know, if we're gonna if we're gonna nitpick at the other movies, then uh, you read he had it tailored, huh? And somebody said that Andrew Garfield did it too. I don't think it makes sense there either. Although at least they showed Andrew Garfield like how he took things from other things to make it. Again, I'm not worried. Here's our first real good look at it. The suit looks great. The suit looks amazing. Again, I'm having fun as far as saying how does this make sense. It does not ruin the movie. It doesn't take me out of it. Harry is also more good looking than Peter. Maybe that's why she picked him. Yeah, but that's superficial, isn't it? Isn't it? You know, she's already had a couple interactions and scenes with Peter where it felt like they had a connection. So you would think maybe MJ, if MJ did have interest, we don't know for sure that she has interest in Peter. We don't know. But if she did have interest in Peter, it's kind of messed up to start dating his best friend instead of maybe holding out for him. Again, I'm not going to attack MJ too hard for that because Peter hasn't done a good job. Let's be real. Peter has not done a good job of making his feelings for her well known. Here's our first look at J. Jonah Jameson, J.K. Simmons. You can't do better than this. We have to talk about J. Jonah Jameson. And like when I saw this, the first time I saw this, I said, "Holy crap, this is perfection." For all of the times that you see certain people complain about maybe Kirsten Dunst's casting as MJ, I don't complain about it, but I've seen people say, "Oh, she's not good." I've seen people say Toby's not good. I don't agree. But you're always going to have certain people who don't like certain things about the Raimi movies, right? You're never going to have everybody agree on everything. The one thing that everybody agrees and that nobody complains about is J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson. I've never seen anybody say J. Jonah Jameson's bad or J.K. Simmons isn't good. I've never seen anybody say that. Um, all right, so here we have the scene where Mary Jane is caught by Peter working at some like diner place. She tried to lie and say that, oh, I'm going on auditions or I'm doing this and that and blah blah blah. It does show that she at least cares about Peter's opinion of her, or maybe she just would have lied to anybody. Maybe if it was anybody from school, she wouldn't have admitted it either. I guess we don't know for sure. So, uh, uh, I think I act like Toby in real life with the shy. Yeah, okay. So maybe you think, maybe you relate more to Toby's Peter. I get that. I think there was a time in high school. I was starting to come out of my shell a lot more, but definitely middle school, I was more like a Toby. I was more shy talking to girls and stuff in middle school. High school, I started to become a little more comfortable. Harry has a great arc that was building up from the first movie in the sin. Are you talking about Spider-Man 3? No. All right, so Peter just found out that MJ is dating Harry. It's messed up that MJ told Peter first before Harry tells him. Again, and especially because they're living together, aren't they? Peter and Harry are actually sharing this apartment together. We don't. You almost forget that they're sharing this apartment together. Obviously, this is bought and paid for by Norman. I love how Norman's just in the background on his phone because now things are going well. The people who turned him down are dead, so now probably other people have, or maybe that same company bought his stuff because those other guys that turned him down are gone. So he convinced other people to to work with him. I do like Harry. Harry knew his father and his girlfriend loved Peter more than him. Yeah, that is sad. There's not a lot of emphasis placed on Harry because Harry's not the main character. But if you sit and think about it, there are so many scenes where Norman is gushing over Peter. Like, oh wow, you're you're studying this in school, you're doing this and that. Oh, like this scene, you won't take the job that I just offered you. You want to make it your own way. Look at the look on Harry's face. I drink the same orange juice, by the way, Tropicana. Um, and Peter is seeing that there will be money for pictures for Spider-Man in the Daily Bugle. So that's how Peter starts taking pictures of himself as Spider-Man. Great setup. But that was like the fourth scene where will James Franco be in the no. Disney and Marvel will not do anything with James Franco because of you know what Franco um, the allegations going on with Franco. That's no, that ain't happening. Um, I love this crap, mega crap. Cheese, yes, good moment where he turns, look at the camera, cheese. And how did Jameson see? He's playing hard to get. That's what it is. He knows that those are great pictures. He just doesn't want to tell Peter good job, right? He doesn't want to tell him great job. Um, and that's why when Peter went to go leave, he told him to sit down. Okay, I'll give you 300. See, Jameson is very good. He knows those pictures are worth way more than what he just gave Peter, but he's trying to swindle Peter into like, hey, you know, maybe I can get this kid to be exclusive to us, but I'll also underuse him, I'll underpay him. Elizabeth Banks as Betty Brant. How weird is it? Because she's a director. She's been in so many movies. She's a very recognizable actress now. To see that she has such a small role in this film, um, my sugar daddy Jameson, he's the only reason I'll watch. Uh, so here we have John Malkovich would have played. Yes, well, no, John Malkovich would have played the Vulture, I believe. And it's like, hey, what's going on? Bree, Tyron, what's going on, guys? What up? What up? I'm doing well. How you guys doing? You don't like Elizabeth Banks? Why? What's wrong with Elizabeth Banks? Oh, it's because of the Charlie's Angels stuff. If that's the case, I don't blame you. I don't dislike her, but that was weird. All right, so here we have the moment where you're, Norman Osborn is being outed. Out, am I? He hasn't said that yet. I don't want to confuse people on where I am in the movie. Um, yes, well, the video game streaming, I think, is still in the shits. So I am trying the watch along streaming. So far, so good. But thank you, Bree. Yes, Macy Gray is coming. The only thing that really dates this movie is Macy Gray being there. It's like, I'm trying to think of who they could have gotten instead. Um, yeah. Am I? Oh, I love that with the smirk. I love it. Yes, the vulture. Yes. Okay, so that's what you meant. Yes, Malkovich would have been a great vulture. I hate the idea of losing Michael Keaton's vulture, but I have to wonder what what Malkovich's vulture would have been like. There she is, Macy Gray. Why? Is it just because she was signed to Sony's record label? Because otherwise, it's so random to have Macy Gray. Like I know she was kind of popular for like a second, but man, was she ever that big? Um, like if you had Madonna here, although I think Madonna at the same time did Die Another Day, the James Bond movie, so maybe that wouldn't have worked. But although was James Bond Sony back then? I'm trying to think. Like Madonna is way more timeless. It would make a lot more sense. Disney is too woke, man. Um, Bruce Campbell in No Way Home would be yes. Bruce Campbell is one of the only. Okay, here you have Dickhead Harry wanting to move MJ away from the. That's messed up, dude. That's messed up. Come on, like you already stole his girl. Well, MJ was not Peter's girl yet. Um, Smash Mouth. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who would have been better. Imagine if they had like fucking Prince or like someone. Madonna's 63 years old. Hey, Madonna would have been way more relevant than Macy Gray. Fucking Macy Gray, come on. All right, so here we go. We're seeing Green Goblin swoop in here. I saw somebody Destiny's Child. Destiny's Child would have been very interesting. Imagine Beyonce in a Spider-Man movie. That would have been very interesting. I'd be totally cool with Destiny's Child. Definitely. I do like this scene of Green Goblin. I think the effects hold up, man. 2002. This is 2002. I think, you know, it's not perfect, but again, this is almost 20 years ago. I'm liking this. We're going to get a Superman moment. MJ in the MCU was outcast. That's true. Oh, Stan Lee. Stan Lee is saving a kid. And then Spider-Man just saved two people, webbed them away. I wish Oscar Isaac played MCU Norman Osborn instead of Moon Knight. Hey, Mike, rewatch the X-Men movies? That might be coming. That might be coming. Yeah, why not? Damn, 20... I know. Movie's so great, man. Hell yeah, it is. I know. Even me saying this was 20 years ago just broke my heart a little bit. Dude, these pumpkin bombs just made those guys turn into skeletons. Holy crap. Skeletons! Tell me that this movie doesn't have some dark stuff here. I remember when I first saw this, seeing them turn to skeletons, that did freak me out. You know, I was like 13 years old, and I remember going like, whoa, they just turned into, like, he killed them. There's no doubt. I feel old. Me too, Bree. Me too. I surrender. And then he just starts like killing these guys. I know some people don't like the Green Goblin suit. This is the first time that you're looking at it really head on, like the full body. I'm okay with it. Like, I don't love it either, but I don't hate it. I do like how Kelly Rowland is fine as fuck. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Kelly Rowland's she's a little annoying in Freddy vs. Jason, but she's pretty. Um, I love the way the Spider-Man suit looks though, and it's very cool to see Spider-Man in Green Goblin, like with Green Goblin flying around, and Mary Jane's in danger. God damn, I love Spider-Man 2. Me too. The suit is the best. Yes, this is my favorite Spider-Man suit. It is. It is. I can't pretend like it's not. Damn. This is a great action scene too. This is a great first fight between Spider-Man and Green Goblin, and it's great, especially because Spider-Man is very much trying to save Mary Jane, so that's kind of distracting him. I like how even Mary Jane said, "Watch out!" Like she's looking out for Spidey there. He just rips out some wires. We'll meet again, Spider-Man. Such a cartoon moment, but I love it. Spider-Man 3 has the best Stan Lee cameo. It's a really good cameo. It's a really because it's just Stan Lee talking to Peter Parker, giving him advice or saying the whole like whatever he said. But I know what you're talking about. That is a good moment because it's one of the few non-funny Stan Lee moments. It's just it's just a nice moment. Here you go, swinging through the city. Spider-Man has Mary Jane, and I like the way she's looking at him. Like you could tell this is when she's falling in love with Spider-Man. Somebody mentioned that this is like the Superman moment where Superman saves Lois Lane. I love this suit. I love this suit. You know who I am. I do. Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is your least favorite too. Yes. Yes. Like it's not I'm not going to sit here and say that I hate the movie, but it's my least favorite out of all of the Spider-Man movies. Yes, for sure, for sure. All right, so here we go. Harry is on the phone with MJ and uh Lois, who are you, Superman, a friend? Yes, that's a good moment. One of these days I'll do a Superman rewatch. So here you go. You have Harry saying, I'm going to buy you something. She doesn't want him to come over. See, this is where you start to see that MJ isn't as into don't let the bed bugs, and she hangs up on him. Toby is the best Spider-Man. Yeah, Brie, I can't argue with you. You know, you're not wrong. Incredible. What do you mean incredible? Yes, yes. When Harry's like, what do you mean incredible? Like I'm trying to imagine Kirsten Dunst's voice going back and forth with him, and how he's getting affected by this, and also the fact that Toby's in the background smirking. It's not even close. He's the best. Andrew would get Mary in a minute. Yeah, that's true. Andrew Garfield would not have any issues getting Mary Jane. Andrew Garfield can just like he'll roll up on a skateboard and she'll instantly be hooked. Um, but yeah, like I'm rewatching this now and I don't have issues with Toby. I don't. People sit here and they complain about Toby and say that he's too old or say that he's not as good of an actor or say these things. I'm not saying you guys because so far Toby's getting a lot of love in the stream and I love it. But I'm talking about online. Online, you see a lot of people who don't like Toby's Spider-Man, and I'm not having issues with Toby at all. Um, age just a number. Don't you dare watch Superman 4. He's the goat. He's I think a big part of my love for Toby is nostalgia. I'm not going to pretend like there's not a part of me that likes Toby as much as I do because he was my first live action Spider-Man. There is a big part of that too. I have to try to be a little objective. So I love this scene. Norman talking to himself, right? Norman in the mirror looking at himself and like Norman when the camera's on him, looks normal, but then we see him in the mirror and he's all like, he's all like crazy. I do like that. And this is the first time where Norman, see the cutting back and forth, genius. This is where Sam Raimi perfectly directed this scene of Norman. Like even their faces look different. They look like different people right now. Um, Evil Norman looks like a different guy compared to regular Norman. Norman looks actually terrified of what he's becoming. And then evil Norman's like, yes, let's do this. Look at how scared Norman looks. This is great acting from William Dafoe. His laugh is awesome. I agree. Tom would struggle a lot with this Mary. Yeah, Tom Holland would probably never get this Mary Jane. Green Goblin is Spider-Man's Joker to his Batman. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Raimi would make a serial killer joke by putting him in a Cheerios commercial. Now, I like how Peter is trying to defend Spider-Man right now, and J. Jonah Jameson's like, I don't give a fuck. You almost don't even know if Jameson really believes that Spider-Man is a menace. It's almost like he's just going along with that as the story because that makes a more salacious story, right? Oh, and here you have a moment where Green Goblin bursts into Jameson's office. First movie with Jameson, and his office is already destroyed. I love how Ted Raimi, Sam Raimi's real life brother, just ran the hell out of there. It's so goofy, but I like it. Here's my ranking of Spider-Man films. Spider-Man Far From Home, Spider-Man 3 is, wow, Spider-Man 3 is your second favorite? Wow. I knew you two were in this together. And then he webs him. Oh, let's not brush past this moment. Sleep. Let's not that moment. But the moment when Green Goblin, that's a really good CGI shot. Um, who's more built, Toby or Tom? Actually, I think I'm going to say Tom. I think Tom Holland's a little more like shredded, but Toby's pretty built in this movie. I don't think Toby kept that physique in the sequels, right? That's why you don't see him shirtless in any of the sequels. Um, but before we get too far past it, when Green Goblin has Jameson and he says, "Tell me who takes Spider-Man's pictures. Give up this guy." Jameson doesn't give him up. Jameson says, I don't know. It comes in the mail. I don't know his name. He says, I swear I don't know his name. If that doesn't tell you that Jameson deep down is a really good dude, I don't know what does. I think that's why I debate whether or not Jameson really thinks that about Spider-Man or whether he just uses that angle that Spider-Man's a criminal to sell his stories. Toby had more muscle mass, though. In this movie, yes. I just think Tom Holland has maintained his physique for more movies than Toby did. But you're right. Toby's bigger. I think Tom is more cut and, more athletic. Because Tom Holland does a lot of his, not all, but he does a good amount of his own stunts. The flipping around and stuff. Tom Holland used to be a dancer and like a gymnast. So like, he can really do a lot of that shit. I enjoy these darker. So, what do you guys think of the fact that Green Goblin tries to align himself with Spider-Man? Do you not think that Green Goblin realistically would have taken Spider-Man's mask off and been like, "Oh, you're Peter Parker"? Like, is it weird that he doesn't take his mask off? Nerdy MJ is better than popular Mary Jane. I don't think I disagree with that. In real life, I think I'm more attracted to the nerdy girl or a geeky girl, a girl who's. I will say that Zendaya's MJ personality, I do like more. So I can agree with you there. Who was? Who was what? Who was what? I'm sorry. If I missed it, okay, so now we have Andrew was tall as hell though. That's true, but he wasn't as bulky. I will say though Tom is a bit too short. Okay. What's wrong with that? He respected Spider-Man a bit. So I do like that Peter went pretty out of his way to go meet up with MJ. Right? He said he took a bus and whatever the hell. He invited her to get a cheeseburger, but he's broke. Like it's very it's not as smooth as like an Andrew Garfield would be, but he's trying. This is his weird way of trying. He's not good at talking to women, clearly. And even the moment when this is the first time that MJ's flirting with him, and he doesn't know what to say. She's like, Why would you be?" And he's like, like he doesn't say anything. She called him Tiger. She called him Tiger. I do think that her MJ is written more like comic book MJ. Like the words that she says, her saying Tiger, her being a lot more flirtatious, like in that scene. You know, why did he take a bus? He could just web. That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Why did he take a bus? But at the same time, maybe he wanted to just like, you know, yeah, you're right. You're right. He could have just swung there. Now this is weird. Are these guys about to? What are they about to do to Mary Jane? You know, you got like five guys in an alley with one girl. We're seeing a lot of see-throughness with Kirsten Dunst's shirt there. Uh, I do like this fight because even though I don't love Peter not wearing his mask all the time, I do like how he was rushing, and if he had taken too like she was about to get, you know, not good. So he left, put his mask on, came back. This is still to this day the most iconic Spider-Man scene ever. I know some people might disagree with that because they might reference action scenes or certain other scenes, but I'm talking about when you think of a Spider-Man moment, everybody remembers the upside down kiss, right? And I'm talking about this moment transcends, Marvel fans. This is something that even your casual fan remembers this scene. The train scene? I'm talking about, well, yes, as far as action goes, but I'm talking about, look at this. Look how into it she is. She's really going for it. Maybe it's because I always wanted to kiss a girl like this. I did. As unpractical as it would be, but there's a lot of chemistry there. Um, would you rewatch Into the Spider Verse? Sure. Have you seen Tom Maguire's Bruce Lee as screen test? No, I haven't. I have not, but that sounds very interesting. I don't know. I'm sure people can argue other scenes, and I'm not denying that there are a ton of iconic Spider-Man scenes throughout the franchises, but for me, the upside down kiss was very much that scene alone makes me buy into Spider-Man and Mary Jane, like the chemistry, the attraction. It's the second time he's now saved her. You should rewatch Full House. I love that show. I own Full House. Yeah. So, sure, why not? All right, here we have the scene where Spider-Man is going into the apartment that's on fire to save the baby. You have the firefighters who were just sitting there, like, what are you guys waiting for? Hell, you guys could go in there and help him. This actress, who's the mother, very quick scene and moment, but I buy that she's freaking out over her baby. Very great acting for such a small part. And I love this. It's the little things. I didn't mention. Do you have How I Met Your Mother DVDs? I have like the first 3 seasons of How I Met Your Mother, but I don't have any more than that. So now you have the cops going up to them and saying, "Hey, get here, you." and the cop saying we'll be back here when you get back, and Spider-Man saying I'm not coming back. So the cop tells him to go. So even the cop who knows he should arrest Spider-Man is like, I like that conflictedness that the cops have towards Spider-Man, where they know that he's doing good, but legally, Sally Field was the best Aunt May. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I mean, she's a good Aunt May, but I don't know. I feel like every Aunt May has their good qualities. I love the energy that Marissa Tomei brings to being a young, hot Aunt May. Well, I haven't seen the ending to How I Met Your Mother, so I know the show is old by now, but I don't know how it ends. But yeah, I did hear that people weren't happy about it. Toby is lacking the vengeful chip on his shoulders, bitter personality traits of the very original Peter Parker. I don't know. I mean, I would argue that Peter Parker from the '60s comic books wasn't vengeful, right? And I feel like that's what Sam Raimi was going for. Sam Raimi's going for the nerdy Peter, like the '60s and '70s comics were. Um, I do like you get the Matrix moment. I do like this fight, especially with the fire surrounding them. I think this Spider-Man suit looks amazing in this environment, in this lighting. The scene where he just got his forearm cut. No one says no to me. Fire going up. And now Norman Osborn looks so strung out in the elevator. He was just trying to be happy. Right, right. Um, you know, I feel like the Andrew Garfield Peter is more of the vengeful type. So now we have Thanksgiving. This is actually good timing, huh? As far as holidays go, we have a Thanksgiving scene in a Spider-Man movie. You almost forget that. So this is Mary Jane is meeting Norman Osborn. He does look at her very, very weird. Look at the way he's looking at her. He's very much a creep. How much of that is Norman or Green Goblin Norman? Look, he's checking her out. Look at him. He's looking her up and down. She caught it. Look at how he's smirking. Oh, oh. Wow, this movie goes by fast, right? Right? Yes, it's a holiday movie. Yes, Spider-Man 2002 is technically a Thanksgiving movie. Let's go. I like it. All right, so now they're in his room. Peter's on the ceiling. I love this moment. I remember the first time I saw this, I was freaking out. I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You see his blood leaking from his forearm. Norman Osborn's looking around. Ready? Splash. I like to see Tom Hardy's as a villain. Me too. Where Peter got cut in his arm. Yes, the cut in the arm is how it's what gives him away. I always thought Peter Parker as a young, more nerdy John McClane from Die. Wow, really? Huh. I don't think I've ever heard that comparison before. I do like how. Oh, here you go. So he had to come to his room to change clothes, and then he went back out. He had to beat an old lady with a stick to get this cranberry sauce. I like that line. How does Peter fix? That's another good. That's another good point. You know. I mean, I always wondered that in general with Spider-Man suits is that whenever it gets ripped up, it's like, does he have to make a whole new one? Or, oh, she slapped his hand. Will you do the honors? The look that he gives Aunt May there, he's staring at her like, oh, I'm gonna get you, bitch. And then with the knives, that's why he was so quick to go after her in her bedroom. Finish it. That turkey does look good. Yum. I am. Oh, there's the cut. Here we go. The look on William Dafoe's face. Ah. Oh man. I'm trying to remember the first time, like what my reaction was, because obviously I remember my first reaction That's true. That's true. But he makes it as Peter Parker. I was thinking though that Peter making that joke felt more like a Spider-Man joke. So that's a good point. I love this because obviously I remember more the Michael Keaton moment when he figures out that Peter is Spider-Man because it's more recent. I'm trying to remember my reaction to Norman figuring it out because this is also a really great scene for that. All right, so here you have Norman being a dick. He's just oh, he's saying it. She's beautiful. Your mother was beautiful. They're all beautiful. But he's talking about she wants his money. Uh, oh, that's funny. I didn't notice that. The heart. First, we attack his heart. That's coming. That line is coming. Um, Now, I do feel bad for MJ because she overheard all that, and she's right. Harry didn't defend her. In fact, Harry gets mad at her for her getting upset. His father was being a creep. He should have at least said, "Yeah, that wasn't cool. I'm sorry." Um, he shouldn't have just attacked her like that. I understand, but at the same time, somebody in the chat asked, "Why does she like Harry? Is she with Harry because of his money? Because they don't really have a lot in common. It's like, why else is she dating him if not for his money?" Again, I don't want to outright say that MJ or Mary Jane is a gold digger, but hey, like I said, she ain't messing with no bro. Let me stop. Let me stop. I do love this moment. So we're not just redoing the mirror scene again. Now he's talking to the mask, and we're hearing evil Norman, Goblin Norman, talking back to him. PS4 Spider Man is a really great interpretation of Spider Man. I agree. Here we go. Uh, Deliver us. Finish it. From evil. This scene's pretty messed up because this is Norman completely messing with Peter. Um, right? Like, he didn't come there to kill her. He came there to F her up. Those horrible yellow eyes. Because honestly, you're a woman that age, and your whole bedroom explodes with this green dude with yellow eyes. I mean, she's probably like delirious, and she probably sees him as a goblin-looking thing. You know. Well, at least she's asleep now. We see there are many comic book moments of Aunt May in the hospital and Peter having to be there and look out for her. So there's so many Spider-Man iconic moments that like Raimi does so much Spider-Man stuff in one movie. It's almost like he said, we can't guarantee a sequel. Like, hopefully, right? And obviously, if this movie's made today, you're gonna be pretty sure you're getting a sequel. But in 2002, back when the superhero genre wasn't as strong or as big or as promising, Sam Raimi probably said, "Hey, let's get as much cool Spider-Man stuff, as much cool Spider-Man history stuff as we can." And that's why Peter's already out of high school during this movie. That's why we're getting so much of, you know, Aunt May, Mary Jane. I very much like this scene of, and I like that Aunt May is pretending to be asleep, but she hears their conversation. She knows how much Peter is in love with her. And I think this is the prettiest Kirsten Dunst is as MJ in this scene. I very much, I like how red her hair is. I like her smile. She has a very infectious smile in this scene. Um, I don't know. Just her hair's glowing. She's very pretty here. In case people are like, "Oh, you said Emma Stone was prettier." I think Kirsten Dunst is great. It is a little weird though, where she's like, "Has Spider-Man mentioned me? What did he say about me? What did Spider-Man say?" Like, you do want her to be a little more into Peter, but hey, I get it. It's Spider-Man. I just want Mary Jane to be into Peter first, which is what. But this movie, like I said, is trying to do everything. In the comic books, Peter was with Gwen, which there's no Gwen in this movie, and Mary Jane, I think, was more into Spider Man, and Mary Jane didn't become interested in Peter until later. Um, unless I have that wrong, people might correct me. But I do like how this is a moment. This is the first moment where Peter is able to tell MJ what he really feels about her. And he's only doing it because he's doing it under the disguise of Spider Man. Oh, Spider Man said this about you. So it's easier for him to get this off of his chest. And I think she's very pretty there. Her reaction to hearing somebody say that something so nice about her. She's probably never heard anyone describe her this way. And yeah, well, something like that. uh, why did they change her? Oh, yeah, yeah. I don't like her hair in the sequel. I don't know why it's more orangey. I don't know why they didn't just keep it this color. I don't know. I don't know. Um, can Spider-Man come out to play? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that is a good moment. Oh, Harry. Oops, oops. We were just holding hands. Uh, awkward, awkward. But to be fair, Harry, you knew that Peter liked her first, or you knew that Peter's really into her, like into her as a person. Whereas Harry just wanted the popular hot chick. That's really what he was going for. Um, I am wearing my oldest Spider-Man shirt. In case you guys are wondering why there's like a hole here, this is a really old shirt. I've had this shirt since high school. The fact that it still fits me is amazing. Um, I have. You'll see when I do these watch-alongs, I'm gonna wear a different Spider-Man shirt for every movie, which I know sounds super geeky, but I wanted to make sure I wore every Spider-Man shirt that correlated with every Spider-Man movie. Um, I do like seeing Harry wear all black and his father wearing all black. This is the first scene, and actually one of the only scenes, where you see Harry and his father bond because Norman now knows that Peter is Spider Man. So now, to Norman, Peter's an enemy. So it's almost like Norman's now realizing, all right, I need to look towards my son. I don't know if it's like I'm trying to recruit him thing. I don't know because we never got that far. He dies before any of that can happen. But I do like how he hugs him here. Home Sweet Home Alone. Yep, I agree with that, Jenna. Ha! Wake up, little spider. It's so silly. It's so Evil Dead. It's so Sam Raimi, the way how that was shot. Here you have a moment where Aunt May is about to reference, "You're not Superman, you know." I couldn't believe when I first saw this, I was like, "Holy crap! They reference Superman in a Spider-Man movie? Crazy!" And now she's saying, "I heard what you were saying to MJ." So 6 years old. So Peter has known MJ for like, give or take, 11, 11, 12 years. Um, William Defoe's laugh can't be topped. He does have a great laugh. And like that's all him, It doesn't even sound like there's any alterations. That's just William Defoe bringing that to the role. bringing that to the character. And this is a great um, this is a great advice moment. Aunt May giving Peter advice to like, hey, really tell Mary Jane what's going on here. Everybody else knows. I love that. Like, dude, everybody knows. It is kind of oh, but then I do like that. Everybody knows how you feel about Mary Jane. It instantly makes Peter think, holy crap, that means that Green Goblin knows. And if that's the case, hey, it's MJ. Sing your song at the beep. Beep. It's a great voicemail. I like Home Alone 3. Don't judge me. Okay, I won't judge it too hard, but I don't like Home Alone 3. Yeesh. No, thank you. I do like that Peter's trying to like warn her. Oh, can Spider-Man come out to play? This is very creepy. Um, I said earlier when somebody asked me how creepy William Dafoe's Green Goblin is, I said not that creepy because he's a little more goofy. But I will say, rewatching some of these scenes, I do remember the first time I saw this being creeped out by that scene. Can Spider-Man come out to play? Or like there are a couple moments where he actually is creepy, William Dafoe. So I take that back. William Dafoe might be one of the scarier Spider-Man villains that we've seen. And I think a lot of that has to do with Sam Raimi, Evil Dead, his horror stuff. He knows how to present a villain as scary. Even Green Goblin now singing the Itsy Bitsy Spider song, but even him flying past the kids and looking at the kids, it's kind of messed up. He just blew up the bridge there. This bridge sequence is a total callback to the Gwen Stacy, the death of Gwen Stacy moment. Obviously, we're not going to kill Mary Jane, but they set it in the same setting. So that's very cool. Again, Sam Raimi wanted to hit so many iconic Spider-Man moments. I like Home Alone 5. Ah! To each their own. Judgment free zone here. And I think this is a great moment too. I would love to see Raimi's Norman Osborn with the orange waved hair. Yeah, I don't know how that would look in live action, honestly. I don't know if that would work. I don't know. I'd have to see it to see if it would work. I don't know if it does though. Mike, Home Alone 4 and 5 suck. I agree. I agree, Jenna. This is why only okay, so I like this moment where Green Goblin this end battle is brutal. Yes. Yes. This is another well, besides this. The actual end fight between them really like got to me when I was younger. I was like, oh man, Spider-Man's really getting his ass kicked and the blood and it's brutal to see him get beat up. I do love him doing the whole make your choice, Spider-Man, the kids or Mary Jane. It reminds me of Batman Forever, where the Riddler makes Batman choose between Nicole Kidman and Robin and drops them both. And they both have the same solution save them both. I do like this though, seeing them both fall. And it's shot very well. Oh, this suit looks great too. So he saves MJ first. So that goes to show Spider-Man gives more of a shit about MJ than he does a bunch of kids. But he was able to save both of them. I do like that. Because if it was any other hero, you might think that maybe they wouldn't have been able to do it, right? Daredevil probably wouldn't have been able to save both. And Spider-Man saved them both. Damn it, God, I love Spider-Man. Yes. Yes, this is a great hero moment for Spider-Man. And I love that Green Goblin's like, all right, well, let's try this. Like, that didn't work, so let me go do this. I love MJ being very scared. She's like, I can't do this, you know, like, because Spider-Man's trying to tell her to go down there, and she's practically crying. I think great acting from Kirsten Dunst. I think Kirsten Dunst is very underrated in this first movie. Think about how she's in danger 3 different times and has to get saved by Spider-Man 3 different times. Hang on, Mary Jane! And then Green Goblin is such an asshole. The way how he punches Spider-Man while Spider-Man is trying to hold on to them. Like Goblin's being a dick right now. Boom! Punches him. Spider-Man loses grip of the wire. Oh no! I remember saying, oh no! Freaking out. He grabs it. Oh damn. That almost looked like Mary Jane was about to hit like face first. Like that would suck. Can you imagine she just dies? Spider-Man's like, no! So Goblin's coming back. The way they have Spider-Man swinging shots, camera follows Spider-Man in the air. Yep, I agree with that. The way how Sam Raimi shoots. We're not talking about CGI effects, although I think the CGI here holds up. Oh, here we go. Leave Spider-Man alone. You're gonna pick on the guy saving kids. Here's the New York moment. You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. Yes, it's very cheesy. It's very, I know, but it's after 9/11. You know, you had to have a moment where New Yorkers band together. Watch out! You had to have a moment where New York came together in solidarity. I know some people find it cheesy, but I feel like this is 1 year after 9/11. You have to do something like this. You have to. Am I still on? Am I good? Okay, all right. I got nervous there for a second. All right. So, the big explosion, that's brutal. That shot right there was brutal. And the way how the fire was right in front of Toby's face. Wow. I thought that was shot great. And he looks like you see some blood. He's dirty. His face, like the mask is all ripped up. Like Toby looks effed up right now. And then he just gave him a big, huge punch. This was always hard to watch. Like the way how Spider-Man's getting fucked up. You gotta remember, this is Toby's first time dealing with a supervillain. You know, he's not like, that experienced. He's only dealt with like petty criminals, robbers, people who haven't physically out outmatched him, outpowered him. You know, Norman has the Goblin serum that makes him stronger. He's never dealt with anything like that. And I do like how, because William Defoe was such an expressive actor, like they made sure that you could see his mouth and his eyes. I love that even though he's wearing a mask, he's still showing how expressive he is. MJ and I, we're gonna have a hell of a time. Very creepy. And that's brutal. How close those blades got to Spider-Man's face. Wow. Webs him from the feet. I love that. Webs the thing on top of him. So this isn't Spider-Man out fighting him. This is like he's using his environment, using his webs. I don't think he's holding back. I think Peter doesn't realize how strong he is yet. At least that's my opinion. I might be wrong. I feel like Peter doesn't know what he's capable of yet. I do agree that if this was Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Man 3, I think Peter would it be way more of a close fight. This is where Peter's starting to realize it though. Like as he's punching him, right? He's punching him. He's starting to realize that he's strong and he could do this. Now Norman is pulling the whole. Wait, it's me. It's. See, Peter wouldn't be pulling back because he doesn't know that it's Norman, so he doesn't have a reason to pull back. Now this is where you get confused because you want to believe that maybe this is the real Norman, But no, he's now using that. He's using the relationship, and he's secretly using the glider to try to take Spider-Man out. It's effed up, man. It's effed up. This is why Norman's out to kill this guy. You know, like Norman's the real deal. Give me your hand. Godspeed, Spider-Man. We're not there yet, but it's coming. I've been like a father to you, which is true. Be a son to me now. I have a father, and his name was Ben Parker. Godspeed, Spider-Man. And Spider Senses jumps up. Oh. Oh! I always thought that the way that those blades hit Norman, they look like they stab him in the dick. Like, holy hell. That's brutal. Don't tell Harry. And then he dies. Blood coming out of his mouth. Eyes still open. Wow. Wow. That's sad. That actually is sad. I don't personally think that Peter like owes it to him to not tell Harry, but I do understand why he doesn't tell Harry. You know, like don't tell Harry that this is yeah, I would have told Harry. Me too. Me too. But Peter is a very selfless character. And so Peter makes the decision to become Harry's enemy instead of ruining Harry's image of his father. And I think, you know, maybe we wouldn't have done that, but I think that shows you what kind of a person Peter is, you know. Peter isn't selfish. He isn't like, hey, I'm going to Nickelback hero. Yep. Yep. We're going to get some Nickelback. This is the funeral. You see Mary Jane in the background. You see Aunt May. I didn't know if we saw Flash, but I don't see Flash. So, yeah, that was the last we saw Flash at the graduation, I guess. I swear on my father's grave, Spider-Man will pay. So that's setting up Harry to be... I love that, though. Spider-Man will pay. Thank God for you, Peter. Like, talking about the same guy. I do like, though, the Finding Webs. Yes, it is epic. It is epic. I can't wait to get to it. I think Flash is in the... I heard that Flash is in the funeral for... I thought it was Spider-Man 3. But we'll get there. We'll get there. So we can look out for him. No matter how hard I try. The ones I love will always be the one who pay. See, that's the struggle. That's the human struggle that Peter constantly deals with being Spider-Man. And that's what I've always attached myself to with this Spider-Man, with this Peter, is the struggle, the balancing, right? Being a hero and being Spider-Man or being Peter Parker, and how his friendships, his relationships, his schoolwork, his job, everything is sacrificed to try to be Spider-Man. So here we go. This is where Mary Jane is telling Peter that she's in love with him. And I like that. I like that it's, you know, I like that it wasn't, oh, I find out that Peter is Spider-Man, so that's why I like him. Or now I like him. Or now I realize I like him. Like, no, she realized she's in love with Peter. Like, she's saying, when I thought I was going to die, the whole time I kept thinking, I hope I survive this so that I can see Peter Parker again. You know, whether or not you buy it, I do like that they conveyed the fact that Mary Jane is into Peter Parker. I do like that. Yeah, it is weird that Flash just straight up disappeared. I would have had Flash at least at that funeral. Here you go. You have the kiss. This is the first kiss between Mary Jane and Peter Parker. Yes, she's already kissed him, but she didn't know it was him. But there's your kiss. And I remember thinking, like, just tell her. Tell her. Tell her! But he doesn't. He doesn't tell her. He doesn't tell her. This is so sad. This is such a heartbreaking. Imagine if we didn't get a sequel, and this is how the only Spider-Man movie ended, whereas he doesn't get the girl, he doesn't tell her. He says, "I'll as a friend." No, you can't tell the girl you're in love with that she's just a friend. Ah, because he doesn't really feel that way. He's breaking her heart, but he doesn't even really mean it. Oh, it's terrible. It breaks my heart. Breaks my heart. And I think I'm maybe it's because of my age and the whole like wanting to believe in love, wanting to have love. Like maybe that's why this scene hits me more than it ever did before. All right, so what do you guys think of this moment where Mary Jane just she touched her mouth and then she turned? I interpreted that as, oh, she knows, right? Like she just realized that he's Spider-Man. Did anybody else get that vibe? Because then when we go to Spider-Man 2, she doesn't know. Like we're back to her not knowing. So no, she didn't know. You don't think she knew? So why did she touch her lip? Why did she touch her mouth and turn to look at him? I have to look at this scene of him swinging through New York. This looks fucking amazing. I can't believe this is all 2002 effects. Maybe it's because and there's him by the American flag, and he just went into the screen. Wow, wow, that was easily the most iconic Spider-Man ending. I can't disagree with you. I wonder if the effects looks that good because it's the Blu-ray. Like if that has anything to do with why it looks so good. Because otherwise, holy crap, do these effects still hold up? I love this film. I do. I I've recently gone through YouTube and I've seen some other people doing rewatches and they're giving their opinions on it. Kind of funny and the Christian Harloff from Schmoes, and they weren't as high on this movie. They have a lot of complaints. They have a lot of issues. I don't get it. I love this film. I think it still holds up. I think the acting is solid. I think Toby is really good. I think he holds up. I think this movie is so much fun. I think William Dafoe might be the highlight as far as being a villain and being multi-dimensional. I think the stuff with Harry Osborn's great. They just want to go against the grain. Yeah, that's probably true. You you don't like the cover of the Blu-ray? No, you think it's too plain looking? That's fair enough. I do think I like the cover of the DVD better because I had the DVD and then I upgraded to Blu-ray, obviously. But I don't mind it. I do like how Green Goblin is on the cover, because his Green Goblin's not on the cover of the DVD. So at least there's that. But yes, Nickelback is playing, which does bring me back to that time period. I I did and still do kind of like this song. They say that a hero can save us. Let me stop. Let me stop. But I think this movie still holds up. I think it's super enjoyable. I think it's so much fun. I had a blast. I had a blast rewatching it. It flew by. I mean, we're talking 2 hours, and I wasn't bored. It just man, you know. I hope I covered everything that I wanted to talk about. I mean, I'm sure there's stuff that I, you know, we're sitting here talking about stuff. Uh, um, so yeah, we're just watching the credits right now. I guess that's it. That's the end of the stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This was a little bit of a test as far as doing a live movie watch along. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys continue and want to see more. Um, Spider-Man 2 is next. Uh, uh, yeah, my singing wasn't that great. I'm sorry. I know. But yes, I don't know when I'm gonna do Spider-Man 2 though. Uh, you know, I'm gonna have to figure out a schedule for when I like what days I want to do it. I don't want to commit and then like if something happens and like I don't want to, so the day I do it, the day of, that's when I'll schedule it. So hopefully you guys can be on the lookout for that. It will be this coming week though. Spider-Man 2, yes. The reminders, okay. The reminders are definitely going to be a thing. That's the best way. I can't promise you what days, but look out for reminders is my best way of saying that's how you'll know. So, yes, Spider-Man holds up, in my opinion. I very much enjoyed it. I think it's great. I think it's super underrated, super underappreciated. I think people love the Spider-Man MCU stuff that they don't give this movie the love that it deserves. All right. Well, I will check you guys out next time. Thanks for watching and see ya later.